Hey guys, welcome back to Almost Inevitable Design. My name is still PK and I make WordPress tutorials for designers and developers. So we were talking about image alts, right? And here, this guy can have an alt. Now adding an alt is pretty easy in Breakdance, I've found. You can just add that and you click on that. You can add an alt like this. Cool. Put an image there. We'll just see anything in there. Yep. Save that. And you can see, did I save it? Okay. It's pretty quick. And you can see that this image now has an alt. Oh, there it is. This is an alt. Do you see that in there? Yep. So that's how it works, right? So if we were to leverage that idea using alts, as well as I should have done that to this, but I didn't. Doesn't really matter at this moment because that's not the point. So that's one reason why I am not 100% invested in using background images like this. Okay, so two reasons, alts and source set. So you can't have responsive images and you can't have extra titles of the images. I should have started this. I'm going to take away 2 minutes. Well, I've been talking for 1 minute and 40, but oh well. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take this out of the background and we're going to add an image separately and try to get that to align. Now, I've tried a few things before and I've failed, which is why I'm recording this again. But we're going to we need to add a couple snippets here and there to make that work properly, okay? So still, I think it's worth the benefits. And depending on how this is done in the future, you're probably going to be able to do it separately. I mean, easily, and it should be doable. Okay. All right. So we're going to take out the background from this section. No background, and we are going to add an image. Okay. Now, normally, if you leave things, so by default, images or whatever it is, if they are superimposed on each other in terms of like using relative positioning, absolute positioning, etc., whatever it is the case, if they overlap, then the one that is on higher in the document load, so in this case, the heading comes first, and then you get the text and the button, and then the image. The one that's higher is lower in the Z index, right? It stacks underneath the stacks of cellophane, for example, okay? So that means if you want the image to be a background, it should be the first thing to load, okay? So that's why we're putting that thing in there. And what we now need to do is we're going to give it absolute positioning and give it 100% everywhere. So let's start with finding it. All right, positioning like that. Absolute. All right. Yep. 0, 0, and let's give it width. I don't know how to find the width. Width. So that should be 100%. Right? Yep. And let's go find the height. All right, the height should be 100%. Okay, there we go. Good. And let's add an image. Cool. So that image is there. Now this is slightly, like almost at the full screen width right now. Well, including the controls, the settings panels. But but you can see that it's not stretching all the way to the edge, okay? And in order to do that, what we need to do is we need to make this section full width. Cool. Now, you can see another problem has presented itself. Two problems, actually. One is the text is not in the container. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put these in a div, make that div container, and that'll take care of that, okay? Of course, if you center it, right? And another thing is that this image is bleeding over the edge of the section. And that is where we need extra CSS, because I've realized, I'm going to save this, I've realized that you're going to have to start here, because this is where the container, the wrapper is for the image, and underneath that there's quite a bit of stuff here. Now, of course, probably for animation purposes, if you have image clip, that's probably going to affect the animation stuff. But right now, we're not doing any of that, and all we need to do is just get this to sit properly, okay? So I found, that image, that's the image, yep. All right, so I found that we need to, first of all, make everything 100%. All right, so that star in the CSS, that asterisk means every element. Any element that goes underneath the selector should have height of 100, okay? Which is good. That's what we need. Now, you can see that it's sort of flattened, right? Look at that, and look at this. It's been flattened, it's been stretched, and we don't want that. So what we are gonna do is we're gonna target the image and object fit and make that cover. All right, and also why is this? Why is that? Okay, object position and make it center. Okay, you can of course change it with percentages and stuff if you want. You can make it left, right, top, bottom if you want, but we'll use center because that's easy. All right, so this is also going to be in the post, so in the description below, and also copy pastable as copy pastable as well from my homepage, my website. You'll see the link down in the description below, and that's where everything, all the downloadables and everything is. Okay. All right. So now that we got this done, we can of course now add an alt, like a custom alt, like dancing. Hey, hey, hey. All right. Normally, you would be setting the alt here, okay? And the description, or the alt here, okay? That's what you would be doing. But if you want to add your own custom one here, that's how you do it. All right, cool. So let's save that. Let's put these guys inside div. All right, let's just check on the front end, see if it worked properly. There we go. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put these guys inside a div. So let's add a div. Cool. And inside that div, we're gonna, oh, nice. Just pull it in like that. Cool. All right. So let's get the size of this thing. Size spacing audio container. Yeah, okay. Let's get the size. Should be 100%, but the max width should be 60 rem. So max width should be 60 rem, and this they should be aligned like that, and that should take care of it. Oh, did you see what I just did? The section will vertically and horizontally align everything in the center. And that means that this div will be aligned in the center. This div is full container width, so that's all good. The stuff inside the div are left aligned and have max width set up anyways, so that's why you get half column there, okay, without actually using an extra column. Okay, that's all very, very good. Now, one thing that we might need to think about is the size of the hero section. Now you can see that in XD, you can see that, right? It's viewport height is set at 850. That's not the important thing though. The important thing is viewport height. Okay. Now the reason why it's 850 and not 1080 is because in real life you have the Windows taskbar on the bottom or the Macintosh. Macintosh. I don't think people say that anymore. The Mac has a dock on the bottom as well. There's a menu taskbar on top. So you don't have the full 1080 height. Okay, Macs actually have a slightly taller height, but even if you use full HD 1920 by 1080, you don't actually get to use the whole 1080 height. So, and in the browser also, you have the tab and you have the address bar, so you end up with around 850. So that's what I'm using here. And the thing is, we want this hero section to be the full screen height, okay? And that is 100 VH, which is 100 viewport height. So that's the height of the screen. But with this hero, with this header here, you're gonna have to take that out. Okay. So let's do the math right now. Okay. Now, of course, because of that guy, that admin bar, it's gonna sort of obstruct the calculations. So we're gonna go to our profile. We're gonna disable the toolbar, and we won't see it anymore. Okay, cool. Now, this header, remember how we had the header overlapping and stuff? So we had a little trouble with that when it was sticky, so we'll leave that for now. And when it's sticky, it doesn't really matter anymore, but the header height itself is 120. So we'll take out 120 from 100 VH. Okay, so that section will have a height. Now let's see how this height thing works. Okay. Yeah, all right, cool. So we can set it up here. All right, now, one cool trick that I use, I wonder if we can use calcs here. Yeah, we can. Oh, cool, 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 cool. All right, we can use calcs. All right, now one really cool trick that I tend to use is the max height is set for desktop and the regular height is set for mobile. What I mean is the max height, that will limit the height of 100 VH minus 120 pixels, which is exactly this height here. Okay, and with on mobile, it normally doesn't go all the way to 100 VH because mobile is portrait, desktop is landscape. So usually it looks a little weird if it's that tall. Okay, so it's a little better if it's maybe like a square size. Square sizes work well, or maybe if it has a lot of content in it, it might go up to a little bit more. And I tend to go to 100 VW, which is a square. That's VW. That's 100 VW. Same thing, square. Or a little taller and use 120 VW or something like that. Okay, so here you can see I'm going to add 100 VW. That'll make it massive in height. But here's in the max height. Well, that's not going all the way. That should be it, right? Yeah. Anyways, max height, calc 100 VH minus 120 pixels. All right. All right, so this is what it should look like, but it doesn't because that's not what that does. I'll explain. So you can see that it's not budging at 100 VW. It doesn't actually do much, so we're going to take that out. The reason why it doesn't do much is because that height and that max height is applied only to the section itself. Now, you can't actually apply it to the section container, but that's what we need. So we're gonna actually have to write more CSS in this case. I guess, this is gonna happen if we have like such custom look, I guess. If there's easier way of doing it, if you find something better, easier way of doing it, let me know. But for now, we're just gonna do it like this because this is how it works, right? So section container. Section container, all right? And height 100 VW, max height calc 100 V8 VH minus 120 pixels, and let's close that. There we go. Nope, there we go. Save that. There we go. Oops, over here. Cool. So you can see that it's right where that line is. Now the cool thing is, regardless of screen height, it will fit right there. See that? Yep. And on mobile, you get a square. Cool, right? So that's what I mean. That's 100 VW. That height is 100 VW, so that's how you get a square. Okay, so I think that's pretty cool, and that's enough for today's 2 lessons. I will see you in the next lesson, and we'll start building the rest of the page. Okay? All right, stick around, and I'll see you there. Like, subscribe, whatever. If you're here, you probably have, so I'll see you around. Take care. Bye.